Action. What's up, everybody? This is Healing365, and man, I just did something amazing yesterday. It was just the coolest thing ever. In fact, I kind of have it on video, so I'm actually going to show you the video portion before I get into this Lightroom edit tutorial. So we're going to go ahead and go into right here. And it was actually this one. This is really amazing. Check this out. This is just so cool, guys. Like, yeah, I went the extra mile for these people. It was beautiful. Let's check it out. Wait for the perfect moment. Here it comes. And this is not scripted, by the way. This is 100% real. It was a paid gig. This right here is just so awesome. I'm so happy to be a part of this. There it is. Sorry for the audio. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Hear the little clicking. It's me snapping pictures. I'm sorry.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You had to reach in. She reached
Yeah.
in my pocket in the car.
Wow.
Well, I made
She
it
wrote-
phone.
5 minutes.
You were talking
5 minutes.
this last time,
She knew, guys. She knew.
This is Ryan. Ryan.
Hey.
This is
How are
Ryan.
you?
Ryan.
Yeah, give
It's on video. It's on video.
This is the camera.
Oh
but-
no, I was really mean.
No, not the car.
Oh, not from there. Only from
Oh.
Only from here.
just from here.
Excuse the camera shake, but yeah, too awesome. So obviously I got pictures from that moment, so let's get right into it. So I had to get my exposure right. Had to get the lighting kept changing. I was there a while waiting. They were kind of late. So that's the first picture. There's a second one. Just trying to get ideas, like where should I stand? Where should I go? And by the way, that does remind me, this one. I'm actually doing a secret proposal right now. Got my Canon 80D right here. I have a 100mm f2.8 macro lens, and I'm going to be taking the
Over
Jesus
this
shot.
way. Now, where they're going to be is right here,
See, I was
right in
expecting
this
her to
general
walk
area.
right
He's going to get
here.
on his knee. I'm going to snap a bunch of pictures. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. So I'm actually going to be recording it as well. So I was going to have it there. That would have been a nice angle, maybe. But where I put it, as you've seen from the first part, a little better. See, I thought he was going to be right there, crouching, but nope, he stood right here in between the bushes. I did my part, though. I did my part. Alright, so let's get back into it. Alright, so let's get back into it. See right there, there's a few more. Just use the blurs, just testing different settings, different shutter speeds. Just random stuff. Just testing bokeh. Well, let's get to the first one. Let's not waste any more time. Alright. Not a good angle at all. Not usable. Same thing, not usable. This one right here. In fact, I forgot to reset my settings. Not the sharpest. This next one. Sharp, right there. It's sharp, clean. So how do we get to that? Alright, very simple. First, you always want to grab your white balance selector. Just call it the eyedropper. You want to find somewhere like more like white. So we click here. That worked. You can also click maybe on her shirt. Worked even better. Very cool. So since we did that, it affected the temp and the tint. So go to exposure. It's a little bit underexposed, but not too much. Brighten it up just a hunch. Brought some of the background and the sky back. Contrast. See, the way people edit, it's all about personal taste, not only from their own perspective, but how they would think that their client would really like. So, a lot of people, they like the washed out, just old vintage look. Not me. I like the rich blacks, nice shadows, so we're going to up the contrast, not too much, because that really removes a lot of detail, but like right there, like 60% is fine. See how you can still tell he's wearing polo shorts. You can still tell that they're blue, but the shadows, you know, I want to keep it kind of realistic. Plus, once we go to the highlights, it kind of will affect certain things. So with that, you don't want it to be overexposed. You still want to have some of that detail up in this area. So we're going to actually drop the highlights just a little bit, like right there, like 12, minus 12. And then the shadows, so we can actually bring back the shadows. So right there. Then the whites, see what it's doing. You don't want it to be dark, you want it to be light, but not like that, because it looks like a horrible image when you do that. So about right there. All the details. And then for the blacks, kind of want it down a little bit, just for that additional contrast, you know. Alright, so here's where it gets a little tricky. The clarity, vibrance, and saturation. So you don't want to put it up too much. It's super blown out, super just mushy. So let's put it right back. Let's think about this. So when we up it a little bit, you see right here where the bushes are, it really adds some extra definition to it. So we're going to keep it like that. You got to be careful with the clarity, because if you put it too high, it really adds so much extra details that aren't really too desired on women and babies, because babies want the soft skin, the soft just features. They don't want those harsh lines, like, see my forehead? You don't want to see those lines. You want those lines to go away. So for vibrance and saturation, you can go crazy with it. Some people, they love that, but look what it does to the hair. It just puts an unnecessary glow everywhere. But just a little bit, you know, just a little subtle thing, just to, like 12, just to make the background appear brighter. Saturation, you can go heavy. I mean, sheesh, did she just come home from the beach? I mean, come on, that's too much. But then, if you want to do the black and white look, which looks amazing right there, but clicking black and white is better for that. See? So I just do a little bit, just a tad. So this is our before, this is our after. Before, after, before, after. One more time. Before, after. Now down here in this tone curve, so for the tone curve, there's so much you can do with it. You can literally keep this the same and just go to medium contrast without touching it. I generally always do medium contrast, and then I play with things. So anything you got to focus on, look at her shirt. So there's no detail. Now you can start bringing the detail back, but you don't want to bring it back too much, because then it really messes up the skin tones. So just a little bit, just so you can see the different details in the shirt. So for the lights, we can bring it up just a little bit. Darks we actually bring up a little bit. And then the shadows, right there. Looks good. Looks really good in these areas. Alright. We can actually change the greens. Really, we could change any color, guys, but since the main portion of this whole image is in the green tones, if you don't like the way it looks, we have three different things. We have our hue, our saturation, and our luminance. I just basically go in order and see what happens. So we can make these greens much less lush, or we can make them much more lush. I prefer a little bit more, just a little bit, because it's like different tones. You got these greens, they're different bushes, so they're going to be different shades. Saturation, I'm actually going to drop down a little bit because I want the center of the attention to go towards the main subjects, which is them. You don't want to blast it out because your eyes are going to be drawn here and it's just blown out. So I'm going to drop it a little bit. Same with the luminance. Probably going to actually add a little bit because when you drop it, it really just makes everything look mucky. When you add it, it still has these nice white highlights around it. Before, after, before, after. We could even play with these colors down here. So we have, it's purple, we can actually change it. See, the darker it is, it's not really pleasing, so we can lighten it up a little bit. But you don't want to go too high because it does create the fringing, color fringing. And then even the reds, I mean, you can definitely change it. See that? But again, you gotta watch out for the color fringing. But it looks great. Looks amazing. This image is almost finished. I don't really mess with the split toning. Haven't edited it. That's why when I turn it off and on, it didn't do anything. Still recording? Yeah. Alright. So down here, I always want to click, find the most important part. It takes them both, obviously, for this moment, but it's about her expression here. So we can up the sharpening a bit, but you see how it really puts like a lot of unwanted details? Well, that's okay, because go down here to noise reduction, click that, gets rid of it. It's completely, boom. And there's a few other things you can do. The idea is to take the shot right the first time as far as composition goes, as far as just everything, the exposure, the lighting, shadows. It doesn't always work that way. I mean, we are humans, the camera's just a tool, we have to use our creative mindset to do things. It's all about experience and practice. Great. But sometimes we mess up, until we take multiple images. For this case, I really do like the composition, but I should actually use this part for the next example, but I don't want this video to be too long. So I'm going to go to scaling. See that? You don't want to really do that because you're losing him. This is the original. But I like the way it is, but I'm just showing you for the purposes of the future. You could bring them in a little bit so they're mainly giving a little bit of breathing room, like right there. You lose the flowers a little bit, but it draws them in closer. And if you look, it actually makes her expression look different. Just for her being closer, just gives her more of the femininity. It's not really a word, but it's just like she has much more power in this photo now, just for simply being closer. Like, it draws you in more on her. Femininity. You can hashtag that, put it in the comments. Femininity. Or femininity. Sounds better. Nitty, not nitty. Whatever. Okay, but oops, wrong thing. Gonna go to scale, we're gonna bring it back. It's fine. But yeah, in the future, sometimes it's cool to raise the scale, or even rotate. You wouldn't want to do that. You wouldn't really want to do that. You would have to bring the scale up. It just ruins stuff. You can also make them thinner. See, they're fat now. You want them to be fat, and we want them to be thin. We can thin them out and scale it up. It doesn't really look like it did much, but it did. It created a whole different shape. Look at the ground, the bush. It makes the bush bigger, which makes them look smaller. It's pretty cool. You can keep it like that too. But again, we're not going to do that. Just keep it the way it is because I think it looks great. Just a little tidbit. Alright, so for some images, most images, vignetting, Looks amazing. I do vignette a lot, but for this image, it's not necessary. It just looks like you can literally print this photo out and it would just be awesome. Just anywhere you can frame this. I mean, that's their moment. It's not the marriage, but this is the beginning stages of it. So that'd be really awesome framed. Really awesome. Especially when they have children. I mean, how it really began. Beautiful. And then there's other effects with the vignetting to make it really crazy. I don't ever see a purpose for anyone wanting to add grain, unless you want that weird film days look. Correct me if I'm wrong. Why would you ever want to? The goal is to reduce grain, to make the image just smooth and buttery. And then sometimes I'll dehaze a little bit if I just want to quickly just make something darker real fast. But no, this image is done. This is the image. This is our before. This is our after. Before, after. Before, after. And that's it.